Because on the floor of the House, they were also debating that this should be approached as a state of war. But you have a state of emergency. So what will change? What will be done differently?
Well, a declaration of emergency. Emergency can be declared anywhere. Even if you have flooding in Lagos, and like what happened recently, that time when there was a lot of flood in this area, you can declare emergency. You can declare a state of emergency. You know, that will enable you to bring out troops to come and help the local population and so on and so forth. So under any condition, you can declare emergency. But a state of war is another thing, you know, that ratchets it up a little bit more, because that will now make those Boko Haram guys, they become enemy combatants when you capture them. Because right now they are given their rights under the Constitution because, you know, there's nothing, we are not at war. So that's why they are still going to regular courts, you know, like the guy who bombed the UN building and all those guys. They take them to regular courts and they, you know, but if you declare war, then they will now become enemy combatants.
Can Cameroon be benefiting from all of this? Because if they don't seem to be cooperating, something must be amiss.
Well, you know, there's a lot of mischief among nations. And there's a lot of... I don't know what to call it, whether envy or mistrust among nations. If Nigeria is troubled, let's call it that, then of course Nigeria that will reduce its swagger on the international stage. Then others will benefit. So you have to look at it, because remember, Cameroon is part of the Francophone network. So I have nothing against the French; they are okay, but it's part of the network. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, let's remind ourselves of what was even said on the floor of the House. Take a look.
On the need to table matter of urgent need, of public importance, on incidents of killing in my constituency, and on Rule 8, Order 8, Rule 56, so that enable me to move the motion and suspend the relevant rules of the day.
Mr. Speaker, so I think it is time for us to actually treat the Northeast as a war zone, send in all the equipment we can send in, get the aircraft to overfly that area, because we must start to realize that we're dealing with an organized military. We need the Air Force, we need boots on the ground, we need them to realize that we are at war and deal with it as a war situation. Mr. Speaker, sir, look at the paper of today, 106 killed in fresh attacks. Mr. Speaker, every day, day in, day out, this is war. We cannot lose 106 people today. Tomorrow, goodness knows how many we're going to lose. Throughout last week, this was what was on the front pages of all the newspapers.
All right, there you have the response coming from the floor of the House of Representatives. But I think it was yesterday when there was a statement, news actually, which quoted the presidency to have said, look, we can't just attack formations in neighboring countries because of international regulations, and so that hampers this to some extent.
No, we can't. We can't attack neighboring countries. We can't attack Boko Haram in neighboring countries. That's why I said they are not cooperating. If they cooperated with us, if they allowed our intelligence assets, military assets, go in there to raid them, then that would be helpful. You know, so we have to, it's a diplomatic battle that must be fought, and very quickly too. And then we need to kind of rattle our sword at them a little bit and just let them know, look, if you guys are not working with us, then we are going to do this, we're going to sanction you. But because let's remember, still, we are still a regional power. Let's use that power sometime. Let's not be so,
as you said, intelligence. We can infiltrate these camps in neighboring countries.
Yes, certainly we can. That one is clandestine. So that one we don't need their cooperation to do that. That is clandestine. But you know, to me, it appears that there's some form of official. It's not official. It's not announced. But there's some form of covert or tacit acceptance given to BH in return for them not harming perhaps citizens of that country. So, you know, you have to be very, of course, because they know that they have the power, they have the material, they have the munitions, they have the...
Because she just said, you know, something struck me what she said, that we're facing an organized military formation. So if that's what we're facing,
yes.
it would seem that they have graduated from that Boko Haram that, you know, that hide within the civilian population to carry out. It would seem that they are more organized. Chimlin was asking if they have a barracks of their own, because, I mean, yes, these are questions that we should ask if maybe it could be in neighboring countries, I mean, from what you're suggesting. How do you think, should our approach be changing, or what should we be doing?
Certainly, like I said, we need to increase our military offensive. When you fight a war, you use all tools in your arsenal. You don't just keep calling on the Nigerian army, go on. America, there's a limit to their resources. But if the people run across the border, there's nothing you can do. But there's something here. The Burma attack, I just want to give you a parable. The Burma attack, they brought 4 suicide bombers. And what was their mission? To take out the APC, well, not APC, the tanks, the armored tanks. Their mission was to take out the armored tanks, go to the armored tanks and blow themselves up as a way of demobilizing the tanks. And unfortunately, they killed 1 soldier using that technique. But, you know, they weren't able to demobilize the tanks. So you see, they are inventing, they are changing. They know that tanks can rout them. They know that they are in trouble if they face tanks. Okay? So what they do now is they take a guy, a human tank, say, go and face this metal tank and see, let's see who will... so they are testing, they are probing for weaknesses to see if they can... I mean, that hasn't even been done in conventional warfare overseas. You know, where people will go, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, so people are thinking for them.
We're in an election, election year, and even a year before the general elections. Yes, so the thing could be, when these elections come upon us, as we draw closer to it, attention could shift from forcefully tackling this to elections. And by so doing, this could also go higher. Well, who knows what happens.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, sir.
All right, Dr. Ona Ekhomu, a security consultant, thank you very much indeed for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Chamberlain.